Hi, welcome back. I'm back with some readings for the new moon in Scorpio. I'm a little surprised myself. I kept seeing a date of January 7th, shortly after I did the original deck reveal on this channel and created this channel. This is all just happening very quickly, but I'm following my intuition, I'm following my impulses and my guides. And with that, and with the energies that are happening right now, I was compelled to do a reading for New Moon in Scorpio. The New Moon in Scorpio is coming up, but this is also, if you happen to stumble across it, when you stumble across it, please do tune in, tap into it, and consider it a timeless reading. The way I've decided to do this reading, because I tend to be more energetic than I am astrological or I will take into account astrology, and I will read into different I can channel in different things that way, but I'm feeling more than ever what I wanted to create here is a channel where we are choosing vibrationally. And if you are led to stumble across this channel, if you happen to come across and you see something here that that is inviting you in, then by all means tune into the deeper side of what you're hearing yourself, because I may be a conduit to some of these messages, but ultimately my goal and my aim always is to help everyone access that which we all have access to. So with that, what I've done is I've done the reading a little backwards. So these 4 cards that you see here were pulled at the very end of each stack that I pulled with the other cards. And what I asked for was that these visually and energetically symbolize the overall arc or message of, containing the other cards that I'd pulled for them. Those have also been read, and you can see me shuffling and pulling those afterward. But for now, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the new moon. I'm going to quiet the energy here, and then just invite you to close your eyes, open them, see which one of these cards speaks to you, and then you can skip ahead to the timestamp for it. And I also want you to play with this. If you feel that you have a question about someone else or for someone else, or you want to guide someone else, or if it's about, if you're split between 2 things and you feel that you want 2 messages, feel free to explore that way. But for the most part, just impulsively follow and go with your first impulse with whichever card you have, and see truly if that isn't a message for you right now. And again, I'll explain a little bit more as I'm channeling. The way I work is I will give specifics, but it is open to a bigger interpretation, and the idea is that you connect the dots, and that that this is just perhaps even the missing link to what you need to know for your situation. And I want you to feel that you've been involved in, choosing this and finding this channel here, and finding the message that you needed to hear right now in this moment. So for the new moon in Scorpio, Scorpio is a sign of death and rebirth, and it's a very occult, dark sign, to do with a lot of magic. Anything especially suggests, like around Scorpio, suggests rebirth. And I want you to think right now about this new moon in Scorpio coming up on the 27th and 28th, depending on where you are in the world, about that kind of energy. This is that Scorpio energy with the birth, the death, and the rebirth paradigm. And in that, just understand that it can be deep and transforming, but it doesn't need to be scary. I mean, this card here from Moonology, it does say, new moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. I want to suggest that you look at fears the way I do, and that is just simply resistance, anything that we have resistance to. All right, enough talk for now. I'm going to tune in. I'd like you guys to do the same. And don't think, just enjoy. Hello, everyone. We are back. We are back now for this symbol. If you picked this symbol right here, it's the symbol, the color silver. But more importantly, if you were drawn to it by the visual symbol, this is the new moon in Scorpio reading. But do know that when you hear this, it's exactly when you are supposed to hear it. Or if you've picked certain symbols and you have the impulse to come back and to choose again with a specific something, question, person, situation, event in mind, or just even with the open expansiveness of what do I need to know right now in my life, please also, use this as a personal claim to get those messages as well. The new moon in Scorpio, it is as a zodiac sign, it is a symbol of death, rebirth, and transformation. Scorpio is also known for its intense passion, for its deep emotional undercurrents. And so as we get quiet during this new moon phase, I truly suspect that we are going to be ready for some solitude. We're going to want some time out to just sit in and think about things, or assess, or absorb, or ponder, whatever is going on right now in our lives, because this energy of Scorpio and of course in the new moon, it's all symbolic of such deep change and transformation. And Scorpio, of course, is that. And being the new moon is a very auspicious time to have the full support of of the universe in whatever changes we wish to make, and maybe feel even a little bit braver, a little bit bolder to take that next step. So this is now a reading for the energy of, and I'll explain to you the cards that I chose. I have a lot of divination tools and cards, and it was actually fun choosing for this reading, but also I wasn't sure if it was going to be a little too overwhelming for the reading. It might be not the briefest of readings, but that's okay. All of them spoke to me, and I think that they give insight, and the intention is that they build on each other and together as a whole. Speak to this energy, which is the one that you picked, which is silver. So this is the card of silver. It is actually blurrier there at the front, and the message here on this card for the color silver is to be persistent. Now, silver is the color of peace. It's the color that expands awareness. So if you think of silver as a healing element, it purifies, it strengthens, it detoxifies. Think about the way colloidal silver will flush out, toxicity. So as we begin this reading, you are being asked to embrace this color as an element right now to help you bring clarity and to balance you. The color silver is also symbolically spiritual because it's in connection with the higher self. So it's also thought to remove negativity, to bring moon magic, which is serendipitous at this time of the new moon in Scorpio, or whenever you are meant to be hearing this message. So at the very end, I will share a visual process, a guided meditation and affirmation specific to the energy of this color, and something that might help open up something deeper for you from this reading as you continue to digest it and re-enter back into your life. The idea here is to apply this as a message from spirit or a theme, to highlight it and just to become more aware of cladens that are happening specific and personal to you in your life. Hopefully I will remember. I'm going to put the book right out here, and let me find the page here so I can do this at the end. Okay, there we go. All right. So in the meanwhile here, we'll start with the first card. Okay, this is from a deck, a gorgeous deck called The Journey of Love, and I will find out which painting this is. Rassouli did these paintings. The card that we chose here, and I don't know any of these cards, I'm actually flipping them over with you. I've just chosen them because it just helps me with the reading, kind of not to have any pre-assumptions. So this is the space between words. I always want to say worlds, but this is the space between words. I will find out. It is a painting done by Rassouli, and it's called Conception. This is really interesting. So the painting here depicted is called Conception, but Alana Fairchild, who is the creator of this deck, she's calling this card the space between words. And what she has done is she has invited this painter to do the visual. She's also had, and this is why I want to read from this book, Richard Cohn, who's a poet, do a poem specific to this card and this oracle message for you. But specifically, just to speak to this, I keep hearing right now, too many words, can't you just enjoy it? Don't analyze, just participate. And I feel it's something to do with overthinking, overplanning. Life is happening all around us right now. Don't assess it. Just enjoy it. Be in it. See where it will take you. Okay, those are just direct messages that I just received. I'm going to go into the book and read the poem. I will ask you now just to take a quick look at this picture once again. And then close your eyes as I read this poem. And if I can, here we go. Daybirth, the eastern rise of time on newborn wings, bursts out across the lifeless crowd and sings its climb to heights unknown. Of beauty, warmth, and power upon its throne, to fade again in western sky, and only for a moment lie, before it takes its course again, to breathe once more in heart of man. So this is an oracle speaking to you, and it's asking right now that we enter this space and we let go. It's just about right now letting go, because it's our time just to receive it and to be blessed by it. So if we can let go and just allow the space in between words. That message of too many words and trying to verbalize something that is just meant to be experienced, to be felt, to be known. And the next card that we pick is a message from Doreen Virtue. This is a deck which I think is actually now, I don't even know if it's available. It's the Ascended Masters deck. And we get, oh, Kuan Yin, I love it. And Let It Go. Wait, Let It Go. Huh, I love it. Wasn't I just saying let it go? Or weren't they just saying let it go? Let it go. Here's our affirmation to indeed let it go. Oh, it's so beautiful. So Kuan Yin, she's the goddess of compassion, and she is now offering you, or us, or whomever is in this space and time and energy, mercy and insight. And she's a goddess of sympathy, because it's her honor, to relieve any of our suffering and to help remove fear. I always love to hear from Kuan Yin, because it is a reminder for me to look up and to imagine her at the top of a sacred mountain, never too far, always within reach, and to know that wherever I happen to be on my spiritual journey or in my human life, in my day-to-day, that I am still on my path to enlightenment. And she is there really lovingly, sympathetically, with so much insight, reminding me to let go of all the burdens, especially the ones of my own making. And as I trudge toward her, as I take each step, I am strengthened, and I begin to feel changed, and my perspective shifts, and it shifts into something that's broader and into a more compassionate knowing. This is maybe your introduction to Kuan Yin. I don't know if you're familiar, but in order to progress spiritually, we're being reminded here that contrast and challenges, difficulties, or what we perceive in our human form as difficulties, will forever be, but they needn't remain the same. In other words, they needn't cause you the grief or the upset or the aggravation. We are being reminded right now of duality, of the sun and the moon. There must be both yin and yang, light and dark. These are the energies that are coexisting together, and in accepting the presence of both of them, especially when it isn't wanted or it isn't convenient, if we can see the gift of insight and clarity, it can bubble up in the most unexpected way. And because often in that moment there is no resistance. Remember, fear is resistance. It's not allowing or accepting what is. And if we can be okay right now and accept everything as it is, if we can find that space in the gap, find that place in between the words, and just let go, we now have some access to the light, the messages, the insight, but most of all, the relief that we are asking for. All right, so I'm gonna flip over the tarot cards. I picked the tarot cards, I picked two, and then I always read the bottom of the deck. So we have, and I think what I'll do is I'll just flip them over one at a time for now. So right now, I love it. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so wonderful. First of all, 7 always represents courage, or that courage is needed. It's a time to experiment. It's a time to take some risks. And if you look at this card, look at him. He has stopped working at this moment and observe the work indeed that he's done. He is observing, he's assessing, he's appraising. This is a time for evaluation. It's a time to take a step back and to take stock. This is the card of inventory. You may be feeling some limitations or fears coming up. I'm not sure. There could be, I'm also feeling this fear of failing. But what I'm also sensing for this reading now is it's actually, and it can be the fear of success. A lot of times we think it's a fear of failing, but it can also be the fear of success. And fear is just, it's a type of distortion, so any type of energy that comes up feeling, unwanted or distorted or constricted, or that feeling of restriction, well, that's just fear. It's the fog rolling in to confuse and to dismantle us. And in this card, to me, it's like you have already felt and or tasted some success, be it small or be it significant. And now it's just time to take stock, to take a pause before you continue. And I think the watcher, that you who are specific to this message and specific will relate to what I'm speaking of. Because when this card appears, it's like you've already gotten this far. This is actually pretty impressive. You are in a bright space. It is cared for. There is plenty of light and ventilation. It is supporting the growth, and the birth. And look at the light flowing in. And the structure, that it is, it's almost like a tree of pentacles, So, and this might be just a message for, again, I'm speaking just maybe for a few of you. But perhaps apply it in a different area of your life if you don't, if your brain is going specifically to one in this moment and it just doesn't feel right. Because when this card appears, you've already gotten this far, and now it's time literally to pull out your notebook, to take stock, and to ask important questions, to move forward, with this nimble action, to stay on track. This is now all about staying on track. A lot of readers will look at this card as success unfulfilled, or some might put it more gently and say postponement. But what I truly see here, and this is what I love about this deck, this is the Steampunk Tarot. What I love about the way the depictions are in this deck is because it isn't actually success unfulfilled, or even postponement. It is if it's in the, this man is just in the middle of his story. This is time now to pause in order to continue. So if you want to look at it as success unfulfilled, it's unfulfilled because it hasn't yet fully formed. It hasn't yet completed or finished. But vital and crucial and critical right now in this time is to pause, is to stop, and is to reassess as you move forward so you can do it nimbly. I keep seeing and hearing and feeling, this image of just nimble, clear, efficient next steps. And this is the time just to assess them. Okay, so then, I love it. So the next card we get is the Page of Swords. And then the overall energy, which I always read, which is the bottom of the deck. So I usually pull 2 cards, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, depending, and whatever falls out really. But these were picked. These did not fall out. And then I always look at the bottom of the deck because that informs me of the deeper message. So none of these are the major arcana, but I still feel they're fairly significant. This Knight, or the Page of Swords, look at her. Sorry about that. I tried to focus and I ended up, I think, stopping the video. So here we go. This is, oh my God, so beautiful. We have the Page of Swords after the 7 of Pentacles. So the message here, this is the Page of Swords. She is someone who cuts through the fog to get to the truth of the matter. She's going to take risks with communication. She is truth. She seeks justice. You know, the principles of this card to me, it's the principle of vigilance. She's going to cut through depression, any heavy, dark thought or mood. You can think of her like the mood fighter, you know, who uses her sword as a powerhouse of clarity to fight off any moods, to fight off or to cut through the foggy storms. You know, and this is perhaps speaking to a few people if you are one that is prone to depression or darker moods, or if you have any Scorpio in your chart, a Scorpio moon, sun, or rising. But just think about her because she's constantly regenerating her thinking to be more effective. I mean, in other words, she is like that operating system that's like if you think of an operating system on your computer who is scanning at all times, you know, and she's only using the applications that serve her and humanity to the greatest good. She is practical. She is productive. She wants to act upon ideas rather than to just talk about them. You know, here is the application after the assessment of the 7 of Pentacles. I mean, truly, you have the assessment, and this is the card indicating, you know, the energy that surrounds you and what will be supporting you. Because the Page of Swords, she's confident. She can be a little impatient and she's quick, but she's always surprisingly helpful. And sometimes it's that unexpected gem of insight or advice, the information that shoots to you from the least likely, unassuming person or source. It can also be the information that you receive, you know, when you are in that pure bliss, that total alignment, that quieted space, that the information that you are actually receiving, but it can come through as something that you are, you know, creating, but truly that's when you are in the receiving or the receptive mode. And then the Knight of Swords, which is the bottom of the deck, which is the energy that is now framing and supporting, you know, the message from the tarot cards here. You know, we've got the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords, I mean, she is the bravest of all swords. Take a look at her. She is the bravest of all swords. She's the voyager. She's like, she's unstoppable. She is, in that voyager sense, she will try one thing after another if need be, because nothing is going to get in this gal's way. Nothing. She's committed to sharing and in representing, and this is the whole altruistic philosophy. And she will, I mean, she will speak out to make her point. So sometimes the energy around this might be a little bit assertive, but you have to also understand that she's always courteous. And underneath it all, she's well informed because she is well studied. You know, here is this limitless, creative, intuitive, inspired, unstoppable mind. You know, the swords and the suit of swords, it has to do, it's the element of mind, of thoughts, of So we've got the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords. And if you want to look at it this way, if you're looking at her as this unlimited creative energy that is supporting, the assessment and the taking stock, and then into the Page of Swords, because we're cutting through, we're seeking justice and truth, and we are fighting off any of the foggy storms. There's a vigilance there. There is the action there, the application after the assessment. If you want to think of it in that regard, and then look at the Knight of Swords as this one that has this plan that's ready for action. But you have to understand that she is someone whose plans and actions are sourced from broader, non-linear perspective. I'm not sure how to say it any more clearly than that, but it is, again, that receptive mode. Okay, if this is like the upgraded plan with the latest operating system, and she represents, the operating system with the fresh ideas, the cutting edge perspective, and because she is tireless, the communication is effectively sent and received. So this is in really full support of what some can look at this as, as a pause or as a break or as a, as a time of, well, it is a time of reassessment, but I don't look at it as a time of false starts or failures. This is a time of acting smart and moving forward, cutting through what needs to be done, and then having the clarity and the connection to your higher source to follow, the right plan, not the plan that we have in our mind that will get us from here to there, but the one that will actually allow for people, places, things, events to transpire along our path. So yeah, I'm just getting some more messages, but I think that's enough right now for this, for the energy of this. Now, this is from the fabulous divination deck and the amazing Canadian psychic medium Colette Baron-Reid. This is interesting. Okay, so we get the message of soulmates, or 41. Now, I don't feel this is a message of what would typically be associated with the term soulmate, but what is coming through right now is relationship, and it's fostering the personal relationship with your higher self so that you can be led through, divine guidance to those partnerships, or even to those brief encounters which will inform you and lead you and support you on your path and at your life at this time. So does that make sense? Look at this picture and tell me what you see. You can share it in the comment section. You can just pause right now and take a look. I just don't want the soulmate part. I just want you to take a look at that. Yes, it's the picture of soulmates, but more than that, it is this picture of connection and of understanding, of someone by your side holding your hand, seeing you through. This might not always be a specific somebody. This could literally be symbolic of allowing, inviting, and asking for the right people to show up, in our life at the right time. I'm going to just look quickly at the book here, because I remember there is another message here that is coming through, and it's probably written on what I'm trying to say. Here we go. Yeah, as a prosperity message, because I'm not going to read this because there's a lot of messages here in this book, but I'm not going to read it. The oracle message that I'm getting right now is more of a prosperity message and less a relationship message. And the prosperity message is strategic alliances, because strategic alliances are most important right now as you begin to attract the perfect people to support your dreams. This is a journey you will share with others. Mentors, business partners, helpers, employees, creative partners, friends, and strangers open doors for you and step through the portal to join you in a harmonic dance of collaboration, commitment, and co-creation. This is what you've been waiting for. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm so glad that I reached for the book. That's what I was saying in so many words, and that was in the perfect words, the space between words. Yeah, wow. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Winged Enchantment. I was going to do, I love the Animal Oracle messages, and there's a couple of decks that I love to use, but I haven't used this for a while, and I love the Winged Enchantment. So let's see who comes up here. Oh, this is beautiful. So we get the message of Grouse. Grouse is, so this is an Oracle deck. It's number 14. I sometimes I'm not getting any messages right now with numbers. Sometimes I'll be more specific to share insight with numbers if I feel it's relevant. But look at how beautiful that is. Grouse is your animal oracle for, your spirit animal totem, if you want to call it, for the energy and for the spirit of this message, this personal message for you that you have chosen. Grouse is the symbol of energy. It's personal power as well as the cycles of life and death. It's that never-ending ebb and flow of life. It's what makes them so lively and invigorating to watch, because Grouse, I'm thinking of someone in particular, a little munchkin that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm getting messages right now about the inner child. So, and this is the totem that protects the inner child. This is, Grouse can also transmit its energy from others. So it's the protector of the inner child. It's the reminder of our humility, of how we are safe to trust and access that inner child, to tap into that inner innocence or childlike curiosity. This bird also represents personal vision and that Buddha enlightenment. And I'm sorry, I've just been transported to the energy of this beautiful child in my life, and sometimes a little grouchy too. Grouse and grouch. Let me get the book, and I want to read. This is the time that I do want to read from the Winged Enchantment Oracle book. This is an Oracle deck, and the artwork is by Lisa Hunt. It's written by Lesley Morrison. Here is the book. It's very short, very short, brief message, and I'd like to read it because, what's written is very concise and specific, so I feel it's going to be part of the message that you need to hear, and there's an affirmation as well, and I will include the affirmation portion in the description box below. I am Grouse, the dancer of sacred dances. I am the spiral of life. I am the vortex of energy. I am the personal power that spins your reality. I am what you create through movement. I am the shaman's alley and the portal of spirit. I am the entrance and the ability to entrance. It's time to let go and release your storehouse of energy. Send it up and outward. Let it move through every part of your being. I am earth magic. I am ceremony. I am the heart of the medicine man. You have been drowned out by the material and the mundane. You have loosened your etheric ties. Step into a little personal ritual and wake up the gods. Wear a headdress, bang the drums, summon the ancients. Great things are awakened with movement. And with that, I want to have you take a look at this. Hold it in your mind's eye and close your eyes as I read the very short poem. You are the power of instinct. You are reverberation. You are the energy of dance. You are grouse. This is beautiful. You know, another message, and I am going to share this. It came through earlier, but it's a little bit more specific right now. And I am curious, and you can also leave some messages, you know, in the comment section. I'm getting the messages right now, and it might just be speaking to a few, but I feel like it might be speaking to more than a few who pick this as their energy symbol. The energy of ADD, ADHD, hyper, you know, what we will slap a label on in this day and age and call, you know, hyperactivity. For anyone that can relate to that, or that can take that and relate to it at some other segment in their life, maybe it's not personal to them, but with someone that they know, love, share a lot of time with. What I am hearing right now, and I feel like this is, I guess, the energy of grouse, is that it is so important not to dim your light, not to feel restrained by constraints that are imposed on you, you know, by polite society. To find a way to both appease the human walk of life that you are walking, to make that part, I guess, easier, more palatable, perhaps, for you and for others, but to never, ever, ever dim that light, the energy, you know, or the expression of that energy and what it brings. Because what I'm hearing is that if you can tap into it and transmute it and decipher it, I'm getting hieroglyphics here, if you can translate it, if you can download it and translate it, and form it, create it in some alchemy, there will be this rebirthing of something brighter and bigger than you ever imagined. And it will be the path to your freedom. It will be the access to your happiness, and your happiness in the sense of how you walk through life. Okay, again, so this is about the sparkle of silver. This is about, I'm loving this. I'm getting this message. You see, the silver can never be dimmed. It doesn't need the light to shine, you know, and the message of persistence, you know, the message of persistence. And, you know, I think I'm going to read it now. I was going to read it toward the end, but I'm going to read this part now because I'm being told to, before I flip over our final card and then the angelic message card. So silver is persistent. Be persistent. The exercise here, and this is coming from the Secret Language of Color cards, stand up straight and focus on what you would like to achieve or experience. Imagine silver rays of light intertwining themselves around you, strengthening your intention and your resolve. Allow them to hold you up, taller and stronger. Now imagine a silver ray of light that creates a bridge between your mind and your goal. For the next 3 days, focus on strengthening the silver bridge until you feel that you are confident enough to walk over it. Receive what you want and bring it back to the present, back into the present. The more you feel like you already have it, the faster you will manifest it. Remember, when you continually focus positive attention on a goal, it is impossible not to manifest it. Say, I am clear, confident, and persistent. Wonderful things now flow into my life at the perfect time. I think the reason I was being guided to read that now, because I normally would read it at the end, is it has to do with finding that clarity. It has to do with strengthening that focus. And it needn't be something that constricts you. It just needs, or should, or could, or might be something that anchors you. And if it isn't, that's okay as well. Just use it as an exercise and see, what happens from there. Okay, and now, so I'm not sure, this is not extremely tarot or related, but I am a lover of Chuck Spezzano. He is a therapist. He is a doctor. I believe he has a PhD. This is a deck. I have all of his decks. I think they are all now out of print. And this is coming from the Healing Cards, also known as the Conspiracy deck. And I hesitate before I turn it over because if it is indeed a conspiracy card, I promise I will talk you through it. These cards go through a lot of what we experience as humans, and so the initial impact of the message can be sharp at times. As I am now glancing over the whole energy and the message of your reading, though, I mean, anyway, whatever it is, it's going to be great, and I will incorporate it into the reading with the help of my guides. All right. Okay. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Holy cow, guys. This is the card of enlightenment. This is the card of absolute grace. This is the final card. This is the highest card. This is like the highest state you can get to. And what I love is that, we were just being told about Kuan Yin's energy and how her energy is that energy, of the Buddha, of enlightenment. And what do we get at the very end? We get the card of enlightenment, the grace card of enlightenment. All right, let me read from Chuck Spezzano's book. I'll just read a portion of what, because this is extremely dense and thick. So I want to just get a portion of the message that I feel can be read to you. Enlightenment. All right. Enlightenment is the experience of true reality rather than the illusion we create that fills the space around us. It comes about when we have to let go of all jobs and give up our attempts to be fulfilled by something outside of us. As we approach enlightenment, the ego will typically threaten us with death. Be courageous, although it will typically unleash vicious self-attack The feelings of death are actually the death of the ego. Enlightenment is the remembrance of oneness, of God, of eternity. Enlightenment is the experience of the universe as light and as the extension of that light. Oh my God, you guys, I am getting such chill bumps right now. We know the truth of light, love, peace, joy, and abundance, and we're going to look at the dreams of this world and remember the truth in this way. And if we do, the illusion will be changed. So if you're receiving this card, the grace of enlightenment will bless you. It's suggesting that there is an enlightening experience rather than full enlightenment coming your way. It's very thick here, so I don't want to read everything. Anyway, whether it's partial or full enlightenment that is coming to you, today is a day of love and the joyous inevitability of full freedom. I'm going to end on that for this card. And then let's just flip over harmony. Oh, I love it. So our angelic word, hovering over this space and the energy that you picked is harmony. And, when we invite that energy in, we can have that true enlightenment and we can feel it. I want to thank you for joining me. I'm getting so many other messages right now. I feel like this is getting a little bit on the long side, so I'm going to end the reading here. Please like and subscribe to my channel so you can be informed of the uploads. I'm still getting used to the editing and boy, the amount of time that it takes to upload and create these videos. But and I don't know the frequency or or even the type of readings I'm going to do. If you have any suggestions, please write to me, include them in the comment section. And I will also include some details of, what I had said earlier, if there are any, like the poem, for example, and any of the affirmations included with these cards, as well as a link to the other I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm doing this in a timeline or if I'm doing these separately, which I think at the length of these videos it's going to be separate and then uploaded so that you just have to click on the link of silver or whichever color you chose. Anyway, with that, I am going to say adieu. Thank you so much. Many blessings, light, and love.